Greetings, folks. You tuned in with Hodgeboy Hassan, kickboxing teacher, coach from out the East Bay, California, and we're here for another Montu Arts segment. Montu Arts Islam in the Muslim community. See, a lot of people don't realize how deep the connection is between martial arts in the Black Muslim community in America and really the Muslim Islamic Center altogether. For decades, martial arts have been about more than fighting. They've represented discipline, self respect, spiritual growth, protection, and empowerment. In Islam, martial arts are generally viewed positively because they encourage fitness, discipline, self control, and self defense. At the same time, there are a few religious guidelines that many Muslims consider when choosing how and where to train. One commonly cited principle comes from the Hadiths that discourage striking the face while training, especially since the face is especially vulnerable to serious injury. Because of this, some Muslims are drawn to martial arts that emphasize grappling, throws, and submissions and other control techniques, while others may have reservations about sports that center on repeated punches to the head. Modesty is another consideration. Training should align with Islamic standards of dress and conduct, including keeping the area between the navel and the knee covered for men. Some practitioners also prefer training environments that avoid excessive mixing, immodest attire, or other practices they feel conflict with their religious values. Sparring and competition are also generally acceptable when approached as a sport, self-improvement, or self-defense rather than with the intention of harming others. Safety, sportsmanship, and proper protective equipment are often emphasized. The connection between Islam and martial training goes back centuries. The Prophet Muhammad Rasulullah and his companions valued activities such as wrestling, archery, horsemanship as ways to develop strength, courage, preparedness, and discipline. Throughout Islamic history, organizations and traditions such as fatwa combined martial skills with ethics, character development, and a strong sense of honor and responsibility. Fast forward to the mid 20th century, the Nation of Islam helped bring martial arts training into the everyday culture of many Black Muslims. Under the leadership of Elijah Muhammad, members of the Fruit of Islam, or FOI, the Nation of Islam Security and Training Division, studied arts like karate, judo, and jiu-jitsu. The goal wasn't aggression, it was discipline, self-defense, and building strong men capable of protecting themselves and their community. One of the most famous voices connected to this movement was Malcolm X, later known as El-Hajj Malik Shabazz. May Allah be pleased with him. He once said, "I frankly believe every Negro in America should learn karate and judo." That statement reflected as a larger belief that martial arts could help Black Americans develop confidence, mental focus, and help reliance on self during a time of racial violence and social unrest. As the movement grew, Several highly respected black Muslim martial artists rose to prominence. One of them was Anthony Muhammad, later known as Grandmaster Abdul Aziz Muhammad, who in 1995, by the way, moved with his family to Chicago, Illinois, in order to serve as national trainer for the Nation of Islam under the direction of Minister Louis Farrakhan. For decades, the Nation of Islam's martial arts and security training had been headed by Grandmaster Abdulaziz. In his role as national trainer and student assistant supreme captain, he's been responsible for developing and overseeing the group's martial arts and survival training curriculum and survival training programs nationwide. He was later inducted into the Action Martial Arts Magazine Hall of Honors in 2014. Grandmaster Abdulaziz often credited his teacher, Dr. Moses Powell, saying that any recognition he received was really a reflection of his teacher's influence and legacy. His journey reflected how martial arts education became part of a broader culture of learning and self improvement within the NOI. Dr. Moses Powell himself became a legendary figure in the martial arts history. Trained under Grandmaster V, Dr. Powell advanced so quickly that he even, as a green belt, he was entrusted to teach higher ranking black belts. By 1960, he had developed his own self defense system called Self Defense Complete. Dr. Moses Powell, later known as Grandmaster Musa Muhammad, was a legendary 10th degree black belt and the founder of Sunuki's Ryu Jiu Jitsu system, as previously discussed in a segment I've done before, and I'm pretty sure it's been covered by many others. Known for his skill and presence, he became the first martial artist to perform at the United Nations and later trained professionals from agencies like the DEA, FBI. Historically, he is one of the key figures who helped bring martial arts into the Nation of Islam. He played a major role in training members of the Fruit of Islam and introducing them to Nukas Ryu Jiu Jitsu. His journey reflected how martial arts education became part of a broader culture of learning and self improvement within the NOI. Another early Nation of Islam pioneer in the 1960s was Grandmaster Amir Dennis, who served as the Philadelphia martial arts instructor and top security officer. In 1961, he joined the Nation of Islam, which then Temple 12 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as Alfred 4X Dennis. By 1962, he was Philadelphia martial arts instructor and top security officer of the NOI Temple Number 12. In 1964, Grandmaster Amir started his own karate school called Al's Karate Club, which ultimately was later named Amir's Self Defense System. From 1962 to 1975, he served as professional security trainer and security for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, Imam Warithin Muhammad, Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, as well as Minister Jeremiah Shabazz, and Muhammad Ali, and many other greats and celebrities. Then there's Sabir Muhammad, formerly Steve Saunders, who joined the Nation of Islam in 1982. Sijo Steve Muhammad was a binary martial artist and 10th degree black belt who helped found the Black Karate Federation in LA in 1969. The BKF was created to stand up against unfair treatment of black martial artists in tournaments while also giving back through community service and mentorship. He authored the book BKF Kenpo History and Advanced Strategic Principles. Sijo Sabir Muhammad was spoken openly about the challenges black martial artists faced in gaining recognition in the mainstream martial arts circles. In interviews, he explained that he often had to outperform everyone around him just to be acknowledged. He also shared stories about his connection to Bruce Lee, saying Bruce Lee studied footage of black martial artists and boxers. According to Sijo Sabir Muhammad, Bruce Lee respected and learned from black fighters, including legendary boxer Muhammad Ali. I'm inclined to give honorable mention to a native of Dubai, Fauzia Lala, and resident of the Redmond, Washington State area. Her initial attraction to martial arts was that the practice was not repetitive, unlike other workout disciplines, and they improved Fauzia Lala's sense of personal safety. Fauzia loved staying active and eventually found her passion in Taekwondo and the Filipino martial art arnis, or Kali, for those who don't know how that's one same kind of, which focuses on weapons based combat. She earned black belts in both disciplines. What first drew her to martial arts was that it never felt repetitive like other workout routines, and at the same time, it gave her a stronger sense of personal safety and confidence. She eventually began teaching martial arts on the side while working at Microsoft. Later, she branched out as a tech entrepreneur, earning patents for innovative designs, including a contact lens case and a smoothie dispensing machine. For years, Fauzia was the only hijab wearing woman in the martial arts classes she taught. In fact, it wasn't until just a couple of years ago, or recent years, in Seattle that another hijab wearing student joined one of her sessions. She explained that many Muslim women hesitate to join martial arts programs because most classes are co ed, and even women only self defense classes can still feel uncomfortable if men are allowed to observe. That's why Fauzia began offering self defense training through the mosque community around the Redmond, Washington area. Most of her students have been Muslim women, although her classes welcome women of all faiths. More than just teaching self defense, she's creating a self respectful environment where women can learn valuable skills while still honoring cultural values of modesty. For a lot of black Muslims, especially, martial arts isn't just about fighting or getting in shape, it's spiritual too. And I will attest to that. Training becomes a way to build discipline, patience, and self control, which lines up deeply with Islamic values. And I'll attest that it's definitely basically becoming a life component. In arts like jujitsu, people talk about training, learning, humility, because no matter who you are, eventually somebody's going to submit to you, so to speak. That experience checks the ego, teaches you how to stay grounded. There's also this growing idea of reviving the sunnah of grappling because the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu is known to have wrestled himself. So, for many Muslims, especially black Muslims reconnecting with both faith and identity, martial arts can feel connected to traditions such as fitness. And at the same time, Muslims practicing martial arts often make adjustments to stay true to their beliefs. For example, some of us won't bow to instructors, not totally anyway, at least, flags or images because in Islam, bowing is reserved for Allah solely. So some find respectful alternatives while still honoring the art and the school and our instructors. Beyond the gym, these spaces often become community centers too. Historically, places like the Muhammad University of Islam and the Sister Claire Muhammad schools combine with education with physical training, teaching that mental strength and physical discipline go hand in hand. Organizations like SWAM, House of Discipline, push that even further, focusing on discipline, self belief, and empowerment for racial and religious minorities. Shout out to Sijo Abdul Mutakabir, SWAM's founder. One of the oldest martial arts dojos led by Black American Muslims, by the way. SWAM is acronym for Strong, Wise, Achieving Minds. And for women in the Islamic sector especially, self-defense programs have become really important. A lot of these classes are designed with hijabi and niqabi women in mind, helping them feel confident navigating harassment, hate crimes, or unsafe situations while still dressing according to the faith. Overall, martial arts within the black Muslim community became much more than combat training. They represented empowerment, knowledge, discipline, faith, and the determined to rise above limitations. Life component. The influence of these pioneers continues today in martial arts schools, self defense programs, and cultural movements across America. That's our topic for today as we close out from this time to the next time. Peace, salams, and prosperity. Be easy.